1988 Chevy R30 dump truck. When I first started looking at dump trucks, I wanted an older 7.3 Power Stroke, or maybe an LB7 or an LBZ Duramax. People are really proud of those things. If you look up at a late 90s F350 with a dump bed on it and a 7.3 Power Stroke diesel engine, people want at least $10,000 to $15,000, and that's with 200,000 miles. It's the same for an older LB7 or LBZ Duramax. Anywhere from about maybe 2001 to 2007. 10 to 15,000 is way over my price range. So I started looking around at older gasser models. 60s, 70s, 80s models. A lot of trucks like this one, this is an 88, but around the 70s and 80s year range, in decent road-ready condition. I'm not talking about perfect, but good enough to be driven on the road with some sort of reliability. People want at least about $4,000 to $5,000, and it goes up from there. I did not pay anywhere near that for this one, but this one needs a lot of work. So after I'm done fixing everything on this one, I could easily be over that amount. I started out wanting a road-ready truck to tow this Kubota with, maybe go pick up mulch, gravel, whatever, ride between different families' properties. At this point, I just want this thing to be dependable enough to use around my property. It is a beautiful day in February. High 50s right now. It feels incredible outside. Just last week we were down in the 20s. This coming up week we're going to be in the 70s. That's one reason I like living in the South. So this is a 1988 Chevy R30. What I find interesting about it is the R30. Most of the Chevys of this time, they were a C30. If you got the 1 ton, like if you got it in a dually, it would have been a C30. This one is an R30. That's what it says on the title. And I started looking it up, and I believe that basically means it came originally from the factory as a cab and chassis. Means the dump bed was not on there. So I don't know if the dump bed is original. I assume it is. The factory probably sent it somewhere and had it put on. It definitely looks like it's from the late 80s. This truck came from the factory with a 5.7 liter, 350 cubic inch engine. The previous owner told me that that is what is still in it, but I do not know that for sure. I have tried to look back here on the driver's side for some identification numbers. I haven't been able to see them yet. Once I get this engine decluttered a little bit and cleaned up, maybe I'll be able to check that out. This truck originally came from the factory with a TBI or throttle body injection. The previous owner actually changed it out. He put a new intake and a carburetor on it. I'm not sure if I would have done that, but it's what we've got now, so we're having to deal with it. There's a whole bunch of wires and craziness in here that I've been trying to clean up. I've gotten rid of a bunch of stuff. I'll be talking more on some other videos about all the things I've done to this, and we'll be making videos on future changes to this truck. You can see here I had to add a pressure regulator and a pressure gauge, also a new fuel filter. I've put all new fuel lines on this truck. I also put a brand new fuel tank, brand new fuel pump. Now here are the old tanks back here. Originally this truck had 2 fuel tanks, but I don't need 2, especially if this is just going to stay around my property. I don't ever even plan on keeping this one full, just a few gallons at a time. After the previous owner put the new intake and the carburetor on this thing, it sat around for 2 years. And I have learned on another vehicle that is the worst thing you can do for any automobile. This truck is also a 4-speed. I believe it is a Muncie 4-speed. Some people call it a 3-speed with a granny gear. And right there you have the PTO controls. One activates the PTO. The other one actually moves the dump bed up and down. No air conditioning, and nothing in here works. Well, the lights work, the turn signals work, speedometer does not work, temperature gauge, fuel gauge, nothing works except lights and turn signals. I'll be doing some more videos on this truck as I begin to work on things and fix it up a little bit. But you can see there's just wires hanging everywhere. Does the truck run? Kind of. I've really been having to tinker with it a lot. I think sitting around for 2 years was terrible. And then I tried to start it with the old fuel tanks on there, and you can look inside the carb and there's some brown goo in there. Also, the dump bed does work, but it only goes up a little ways. So that's actually what I'm hoping to accomplish today. I'm going to lift this bed up and put some more hydraulic fluid in there. Hopefully that's the only thing wrong with it. It's just low on fluid. Just about everything leaks on this truck. The PTO is leaking, the hydraulics are leaking, I believe the engine leaks oil. I don't know what kind of weird trailer hitch setup they got going on here, but I wouldn't feel safe pulling something with this. Got a hole cut in here around the ball. If I ever do pull a trailer with this thing, we're gonna be cutting all this mess off of here and welding up a new hitch on there, one that I know I can trust. This dump bed is in rough shape, but it's actually got a nice tailgate on it. I mean, it's got these chains. You can set it up where you can just swing the tailgate out a little bit to lay your gravel down on the driveway. It'll lay down this way to dump the whole load. So this thing is in a lot worse shape than I thought it was when I bought it. Do I regret buying it? Kind of. But I need a dump truck, and honestly, if I would have gotten one in better shape than this, I probably would have had to spend a lot more money, at least $4,000 or $5,000. At the time I was building a house, and now I'm trying to build a swimming pool, I don't have that kind of money. I think this thing will be a fun project as I fix it up and get to use it around the property. Let's talk about some future plans for this thing. I do not want to put a whole lot of money in this. It needs new tires and wheels all the way around, but I'm not even touching those until I know it is really dependable and I can drive it on the road. My main focus is make the engine dependable, fix all the leaks, like the PTO and the hydraulic leaks. I want to clean up all the wiring in the thing. I would love to one day maybe do an engine swap in this thing, or try to take this engine out and rebuild it, or really it would be cool to try to put a 12 valve Cummins engine in this thing. But something like that would be way off in the future. There's no way I'm going to be laying out here on the ground. I'm going to need a shop and a lift in order to do that. I worked during the summer to take these fuel tanks off, and it was wet and muddy. You're laying on your back under this thing. You got all that stuff falling on you. It was terrible. One of the nastiest jobs I've ever done. I hope to have a lot more videos coming up about working on this thing as I make some repairs and get it running better. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.